Gasper, could the team be getting a little too much hype in your mind? And if so, why?
Yeah, no, I thought about this week, and I've been thinking about it like a lot this week before I was even on the show with you guys. There just was something that was like kind of nagging at me. And part of it is I'm wondering, are we sort of doing a sequel to 2021 where the Patriots have this incredible stretch and they surprise us all, but then eventually the team comes back to earth, water finds its level. Drake May's a million times better than Mac Jones, at least in my mind. You know, that's what I'm going to say. And I agree with you that he's legitimate. But if you look at this stretch that they're on, you got to give them credit because they are good enough to take advantage of bad football. That was Vrabel's initial goal. They're there. They're definitely good enough to take advantage of bad football. But part of this, to me, I look at and say, is this a product of them being really this ahead of schedule with what they're doing, which is exceeding even what they thought internally? Or is it more a product, optical illusion of the schedule? And you look at it, if you took that Buffalo game out and they didn't win that game, let's say they don't win that game. Borregales misses the field goal, and that's a 52-yard field goal. Credit to him. He split the uprights. It was right down the middle, but it's very missable field goal. How do you feel about this stretch? Are you saying they've arrived, they're a contender, they can win a playoff game? Or are you looking at it and saying, well, they've just beaten a bunch of first and second year quarterbacks. And I'm going to throw Bryce Young in there, even though he's in his third year, because he got benched last year in his second year. So this is like year 2.5 for him. So it's Bryce Young, it's Spencer Rattler, it's Cam Ward. This week it's Dylan Gabriel. Even next week, I like that Atlanta team. They have weapons. The defense is pretty good. But do we know what Michael Penix Jr. is? And he's a second-year quarterback. So there's just part of me that looks at this and says, and maybe I'm scarred by 2021, I need to see a little bit more. I just need to see a little bit more against quarterbacks who are more consequential than what they faced outside of Josh Allen. And I'm not taking anything away from them with Josh Allen, but when the Patriots were at the peak of their powers, every once in a while they lose a game to Ryan Fitzgerald in Buffalo, or they lose a game, you know, that they shouldn't lose in the AFC East. Did that mean that that team was going to really challenge them, or that that team had arrived outside of the Mark Sanchez Jets? Not really. So I just feel like so much of this is resting on that one game, that one night in Buffalo.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing you right here, Chris, it's not so much you're scarred by 2021.
Here we go.
It's you think the defense kind of sucks.
I don't think the defense is as good as some of the numbers would indicate. And some of the numbers indicate that they're not as good as some other numbers. For example, DVOA is one you'll hear from Bedard. I've heard Mazz reference it. They're 28th in the NFL in defensive DVOA. They're 30th in red zone defense. So if you're playing better quarterbacks that can get down into the red zone more often, they have not executed particularly well down there. They've given up some plays in the pass game. I don't think they're a bad defense, but some of the numbers that you're looking at and some of the things that you're seeing, you know, that play, Caleb Von Chason, props to him for taking advantage of that play, and he made a good play by beating the wide receiver inside and immediately pressuring Cam Ward. He deserves full credit for that. But that wasn't a strip sack. Cam Ward, that belonged on the football follies. The ball flew out of his hand. Credit to Chason. He picked it up, scored a touchdown. He pressured him to help force that, but that's just terrible quarterback play. Yeah, that's not like dominant defense. That is the definition of what Vrabel wants the team to be, being good enough to take advantage of bad football. That is the very definition, the very picture of it. That play right there by Chason. But is this a lockdown, shutdown defense in a playoff game against a Patrick Mahomes or even a Justin Herbert? I'm not there yet.
So, did I not call Murray?
No.
As soon as Murray said, so you're saying, I'm like, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Because previously,
it's the Murray translator.
Usually what that would be, so you're saying is the quarterback's kind of a hammerhead.
Oh, no. Quarterback's
but no, that's over. No, that's over.
Never heard me say anything about the quarterback.
I know. But now
so you're saying the defense kind of sucks.
Yeah, now we're saying the defense kind of sucks. Don't you have to put stock in the Buffalo game, though, Chris?
You do. You do have to put stock in that game. There's no question about it. But I also think if you look at this stretch, winning that game can kind of warp it. And you put stock in that because they played exceptionally well, you know, that night. And they won that game. And we didn't think they were going to win that game. I don't think anybody outside of the folks in Foxborough thought they were going to win that game. But when you look at the entirety of this stretch, and again, this is not trying to take anything away from them, so much of it rests on that one night in Buffalo and a game that could have gone either way. And we're sort of looking at it and saying, well, they beat Buffalo, so now they're on Buffalo's level. And I just look at the past and times when the Patriots were the dominant team in the AFC East and somebody jumped up. And if you want to say they're on Buffalo's level now because Drake May has closed the gap with Josh Allen, I'll give it to you. I agree with that. But if you want to say because they won that one game, they're now in their level, then I would say, well, what about all the other times the Patriots of Brady and Belichick lost a game in the AFC East? They really shouldn't have lost. Did you then think that team was automatically on the Patriots level?
No, but
I don't think so.
But let me tell you just a counter to that. Like,
okay,
Buffalo's better. Like, that's not. It doesn't always.
Yes.
It just doesn't work out that the better team goes farther.
Mm-hmm.
The team that has home field, the team that gets a bye, the team that ends up in a better playoff road goes. And maybe some other team is better, but because you've got a bye or a home game, you're going to go farther. And that's sort of what I think. That's where I am with the Patriots. I'm not. That was a big swing game, and I think they kind of went toe-to-toe with them. I don't think that they were outclassed in that game.
They definitely were not outclassed. Did you think that was Buffalo's best? How about that jet sweep fumble?
No, definitely not.
Or Keon Coleman just dropping the ball. Even the Josh Allen interception was like, that was Josh Allen year 2.
That was a good play by Marcus Jones.
It was a good play by Marcus Jones, but it was, to use Murray's term, it was a hammerhead throw. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? And some of that obviously is the Patriots. And here's what they do exceptionally well on defense. They are great at stopping the run. Great, and they did it to James Cook, and they deserve absolute credit for that. But I didn't think that was Buffalo's best. And do you think Buffalo took that game like they take a game against Kansas City?
No, you caught him. You absolutely caught him.
In fact, although they haven't won since. I mean, I know they had one bye in there,
Or maybe they're not as good as you think. I mean, I don't know.
That's possible, too.
I'm not disputing
Maybe Buffalo's not as good.
I'm not disputing any of those things. I think they're legit in that they have a real chance and are capable of going on a deep run because I can see them now taking care of these teams they should take care of. That's an important thing. And they've got a lot of these on the schedule. And you do that consistently enough. The next thing you know, maybe you pirate the division somehow. And the next thing you know, you're a 2 seed. And the next thing you know, you got Jacksonville in here for a wild card game on a effing Saturday afternoon. And that should be a win. And now the next thing you know, you're in the divisional round, and because you got a high seed, you got the next team that pulled an upset, and blah, 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 blah. Like, so that I think is where they're at. You put here in your email that something just gives me some pause about declaring the entire program has made some quantum leap this fast. I don't think they have a lot of work to do on the roster. I don't think the program's taken a leap. I just think we're seeing what happens when your quarterback catches fire against a bad schedule and the rest of it's good enough. And here you go. Like, that's what I think we're seeing, and I'll take it. I think it's important for the organization. I think it's going to give them wind at their sails. But no, they got a long way to go.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you just said, and maybe it's just a glass half empty, glass half full type of thing. I tend to be a glass half empty type of guy. I agree with you in terms of the quarterback, and that's what I feel is mostly, or the most sustainable thing about them is the quarterback play. But even you would have to admit, I mean, they ran the ball well against Tennessee, but it's asking a lot of Drake May to make it through the entire season playing at the level he's playing at right now.
Oh, he's going to
particularly
cool off.
When you play against some better competition. I mean, he's really kind of, as you guys would say, caping up for the offense.
He's
at
not.
this point. I mean,
he's not going to complete 90% of his passes 20 yards down the field.
No way.
It's a number that doesn't exist.
They're also 5th in the league in scramble percentage. So he's having to run a lot to make plays. He's also taken 22 sacks, and that's not all on him. But the only quarterbacks who have been sacked more that have played the same amount of games as him or fewer. Herbert is also 22, but he played last night. It's Cam Ward and Justin Fields.
Yeah, Cam Ward's the only one who's been sacked more. Fields is another one who was the same number. But look, I think you're going to start to see some better opponents in the next 3 weeks. And I include Cleveland because of that defense. Their defensive front is awesome.
No, it's a legit team.
I mean, and Myles Garrett can end your season if you're Drake May and you're stupid.